being organised is critically important when it comes to being effective in sales. Now, there's different ways and different systems you can use to be organised. What we're going to talk about here is managing your contacts and your contact management system. It used to be called the Rolodex. That was eons ago. Now it's called your CRM, which stands for Customer Relationship Management. And there are all sorts of fantastic pieces of software out there that can help you keep organised when it comes to your contacts. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the system. It's vital that we have a system. To help us stay organised. Now, the worst system you can have is no system at all. The second worst system you can have is bits of sticky notes or scrap bits of paper on the desk. Probably the third worst, but a whole lot better, is an Excel spreadsheet that lists out your different contacts with their phone numbers and so on. Now, I know lots of people work off an Excel spreadsheet, and like I said, it's a whole lot better than no system at all. The problem with it, it's not very versatile. It's very hard to use. It is a great place to keep your contacts. So we're not going to talk about that kind of system. What I'm a huge fan of in this day and age of having some cloud-based system that obviously works on your desktop, but you can also get access to on your phone or any other kind of mobile device that you're using. If you'd like some information on contact systems, by all means get in touch with me and I can talk to you about that. Hopefully your company has a CRM, a contact relationship management bit of software. If they don't, then we'll have that conversation about how we should implement that in the business. If they're not in a position to do that right now, then you need to have one yourself so that you can keep track of things. Now, in your system, you're going to have things like obviously phone number, details of address, email address, all that sort of stuff. Where it becomes really powerful is when you start to keep additional information there, like records of conversations you've had, areas of interest to them. So let's write that down. Notes on conversations. For example, let's say you were talking to a prospect and they said, listen, I can't meet you next week. I'm heading off to Bali for a couple of weeks. Give me a call when you get back. Now, you might find out a little bit what he's doing in Bali, he or she's doing in Bali. And then when they get back and you follow up, you've pulled up that conversation, you can reference some specific things that he said in that conversation that can make you look like a rock star and like you're vitally interested in what he had to say, which of course you are, but it's impossible to remember everything. So record of conversations, notes on personal details. Personal details, now I'm not trying to be creepy here, but if they happen to mention, listen, I'm a member of Rotary or a member of a Chamber of Commerce or have an interest in dogs, whatever it is, the more you compile information on that kind of stuff that you can bring up in conversations, send articles of interest, have some common ground to be able to talk with people around their interests and hobbies, the better, right? It's all about building relationships, and that's why this software is called Relationship Management. There's a book that I referenced below this video by Harvey Mackay called How to Swim with the Sharks Without Being Eaten Alive. And in that book, Harvey talks about how he trained all his salespeople to use his system called the Mackay 66, of which there's a copy below this video as well. The Mackay 66 is 66 different points or areas of interest or things about a people that he required his sales team to find out about their customers and their prospects. Therefore, when they're having conversations and they're marketing, they can be very specific and really build deep relationships. Versus most people try and keep it all in their head, or they're scattered, they've got the sticky notes on the desk, or they don't have anything. And the way you're perceived is a lot less than someone who's got it all together and can remember someone's birthday, for instance. So notes on conversations and that sort of thing. The other thing you want your system to be able to do is you want it to be able to categorize. Now, this is not a must-have, but a very powerful thing. I use a system called Infusionsoft, and what that enables me to do is to apply tags to a customer. Now, a tag, I can make up any number of tags and anyone can have any number of tags, but where I use it, for example, knowing my customers, they're looking primarily for three things. They're looking to be able to make more money, they're looking to be able to free up their time, and they're looking to be able to hire good people and build their team well. So I've labelled those three things: time, team, and money. And I've got those three tags in my database. And so when I am talking with a prospect or someone who I think might be interested, and they give me some hints around the areas of interest for them, I tag them appropriately. And then when I come across an interesting piece of information, an article, I have a seminar coming up that's going to address one of those areas of interest to them, I can filter out my list and who are all the people interested in freeing up their time. And I can send those people that piece of information. Do it very leveraged way, say, hey guys, or hey, fill in the blank, because it auto-populates their name. Came across this article on how to free up your time. I thought of you and thought you might be interested in having a read. Hope all is well, speak soon. Bam, off it goes. So I'm going to jump ahead here a little bit, but your system, managing contacts, obviously you've got to have a system, but you use your system for keeping in touch. A good system will enable you to keep in touch in a leveraged way. It's impossible to try and remember who's interested in that and the other, and then try and fill out their emails one at a time. A good system enables you to do this in a very leveraged way. Look, that's probably the main thing. System, notes on conversation, personal details. The other thing I'll put in there, we talked about categorizing, is tasks. Let's say you talk with someone, they say, look, give me a call in 6 months. You've got to have some way of being able to remember that and, have it pop up and remind you when 6 months comes around. Again, the sticky note's not going to cut it. So a good CRM will give you the ability to assign a task against a contact that will pop up in some way, shape or form and remind you that something needs to be done. Another one that I use, and this is kind of outside the CRM system. Okay, systems. I'm going to put systems. We're going to say CRM. I'm going to say plus email, because these two are key systems, and ideally you want your email to integrate with your CRM, so all that information is one point. Ideally that also contains your sales information, like sales that have been made, sales history, quotes, all that sort of stuff. Sometimes that can get complicated, so sometimes we need a separate CRM system versus our quoting and sales system. But on the email side, having those two interact is critical, so you can see the email history. But sometimes you'll send off an email and you want to make sure you get flagged or want to be able to know whether that email got responded to or not. And I'm not talking about read receipts. I'm talking about, let's say you send an email off saying, Jim, is next Thursday going to be okay for you? And you've got to think to follow that up if you don't hear back from Jim. Well, I use Gmail as my email engine, and I've got an add-on to that called Boomerang, which I can tag saying, hey, throw this email back in my inbox in 2 days if I haven't had a reply. So those little systems, things like that, I'm not suggesting you should be using Gmail and Boomerang, although I'd highly recommend it. And you may have me watching this video now, and there's way better systems out there. But having technology and systems in place to save your brain space. Your brain is not best used for remembering stuff. Your brain is best used for being creative and problem solving and thinking strategically. But if we're trying to remember 1,000 different things up here, there's so much clutter and you just can't think clearly and you won't operate at your highest. That's why a good system that can keep your contacts, can leverage you through remembering things for you, reminding things, categorizing your customers, all that stuff just takes it all out of your mind and allows you to be organized and efficient. So that's it. Look, take a look at the thinking questions below, spend some time going over those, and you'll see, like I mentioned in the video, the other resources below that you can check out further to learn a bit more about it. Have fun.